Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new elite family of woods and irons from Callaway.
Welcome into Golf Central. I am Matt Adams. I will be joined by Rex Hoggard and Amy Rogers in just a moment. And as you just heard, we'll be checking in with the United States Ryder Cup captain, who also happens to be the most recent winner on the PGA Tour, as he will be teeing it up at the Rocket Classic in Detroit Golf Club, an original Donald Ross design. So talking about old classics, as we welcome in Rex, I wasn't referring to you, Rex, but what is happening on the PGA Tour might be described as everything new is old again, as the fully exempt list is reducing from 125 to 100 this year. That's a number that hasn't been seen on tour since before the all-exempt tour started over 40 years ago. What impact do you think that new reality will have on events such as the Rocket Classic?
To some players, I think it's probably going to feel like the goalpost got moved the entire length of the field. We talk about this all the time, sort of changing the narrative, changing the rules as you go along. And it doesn't sound like that big of a change between 100 and 125. But over the course of my career, over 2+ decades, I don't know how many times I have spoken with players who finished between 101 and 125 on the season-ending points list and felt pretty good about their season. They kept their jobs. They felt like they made some good progress looking ahead to next year. That reality is completely different now, and you're starting to see it with the players scrambling late in the year. Yeah,
it is changing the end of the PGA Tour season as a result. Now, the Donald Ross design that is hosting the Rocket Classic for the 7th time this year, that course is within city limits of Detroit, and it has a rich history of its own. Henry Ford was a member, and Aretha Franklin, she once owned a home on the 7th hole. Action starts Thursday right here on Golf Channel. Now, some notable tee times tomorrow. Minwoo Lee, you just watched his sister win her 3rd major championship. He plays with defending champion Cam Davis and Wyndham Clark. Keegan Bradley at 7:29 a.m. with 2 players that could be on his Ryder Cup team, Colin Morikawa and Patrick Cantlay. And one of the featured groups in the afternoon includes Hideki Matsuyama and Ben Griffin. We now welcome in Amy Rogers from Detroit. Now, we'll get to the event in just a second, Amy, but I wanted to check on something. When we checked with you yesterday, there was a big storm coming through the golf course. What are the latest conditions on the course?
Hey there, Matt. Well, I'm having a sense of deja vu. I'm coming to you from inside the clubhouse for the 2nd day in a row. This time, same time yesterday, a storm is moving through the area here, just like we saw yesterday. And I posted a few pictures on social media when I left the clubhouse yesterday here at Detroit Golf Club. Now, it was a quick storm. It crept up on us quickly, but it did a lot of damage very quickly, dumping several inches of rain, a lot of standing water around the golf course, some large branches coming down, quite a bit of the fencing going down as well. When I walked back to my car, I noticed that all the fencing surrounding the practice putting green had gone down. Now, when I was out on the golf course today, I didn't see any more of that standing water, but there was still quite a bit of debris, a lot of branches, a lot of leaves that were down throughout the golf course. So I think the big concern will be, with more storms in the forecast, obviously today and the next few days, is how well this course can handle more rain after we saw it receive so much here yesterday.
Well, please be careful. That's something that we'll all be keeping a close eye on. Now, to the players in the field this week, assuming that Keegan Bradley has to refocus after his win last week in Connecticut?
Oh, for sure. It has been a crazy couple days for Keegan Bradley since he got that win at the Travelers Championship. Suddenly, here he is having to entertain this idea of possibly being a playing captain in the Ryder Cup. It's something he said after his win that he hadn't really thought much about, and now has suddenly become a possibility in the wake of that victory. And so I had a chance to speak with the Ryder Cup captain earlier today, asked him not just about the prospect of being a playing captain, but also to get reaction, what he's heard from friends and family since his win on Sunday.
It's been really fun. I got to head home for a day and spend it with my family, but just being around the people, giving me congrats has been really great.
You said after your victory that you hadn't really thought about this possibility of being a playing captain, but the PGA of America kind of planted that seed for you. Is that more of a pressure or a motivation for you?
Well, things are certainly different now after that win, but I'm still trying to figure out how we're going to go about this. My plan is to be the captain first, and if we get in 2 months, if we see if I'm going to help the team, then we'll have to make a decision. But as of right now, I'm still going to be just the captain.
When you're considering big decisions like this and other points in your career, what does that process sort of look like for you as you contemplate this decision going forward?
Yeah, well, it's pretty chaotic because, I'm still trying to, compete in my real job out here. And then when I leave here, I become the Ryder Cup captain. So I have both things to sort of distract from each other. And it's sort of been kind of nice. So when I'm out here, I have to try to leave that Ryder Cup stuff. But when I leave the golf course, I got to be the captain again. And then, I got to rely on my vice captains and some of the older guys to help me guide me through this.
It's a lot to juggle, but I'm sure you feel like it's a good problem to have. We appreciate the time. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Well, just by chance, Bradley had already scheduled a dinner with his vice captains for last night, Tuesday evening. So he had a chance to go ahead and meet with Webb Simpson, Kevin Kisner, and Brandt Snedeker. They were all here. They all got together for dinner. I joke with Snedeker, I'm sure you had plenty to talk about after what happened on Sunday. And I asked them about, what they discussed, how that went. I got a lot of the same answers. They're pretty tight-lipped about what Bradley's future might look like on this team. And I asked Simpson about that prospect, if he is a playing captain, what that might look for them and their responsibilities going forward if Bradley does play in September.
We're all just wanting to help in any way we can. We have great experience having Jim Furyk. He's done this once in a Ryder Cup, once in a President's Cup, many other teams as assistant captain. And obviously, Brandt and Kevin had their runs as assistants last year at the President's Cup. And then, Kevin, and I had a chance to do it in 2022. So I think whatever the lineup ends up being, we're all unified. We want to put forward the best 12 guys to represent the USA. And like I said, if Keegan happens to be one of the 12, great. If not, he's going to be an incredible captain, as he's already been.
Well, I think it ultimately comes down to his decision. If he feels like he warrants a spot on the team, then he has to make that call. If he can juggle both roles, then it's only up to him. So we'll see what he thinks coming down. We still got a long way to go, a lot of points at the British Open.
Do you think he should be on that lineup?
Well, if I pick today, yeah. But we got a long way to go.
I think his play over the last month has really produced some quality golf under stressful situations. That being said, there's 5 more events that really will make the team look differently than it does right now. As the team looks today, it's going to change a lot. There's still a lot of points out there. There's still some stuff to go on. So, if we're not running every scenario right now with all 25 of those guys making the team, they're not doing our job. And so Keegan's obviously a part of that, but there's, plenty of other guys on the outside looking in right now that are playing great golf that are 1 week away from changing the whole narrative. So, I think our job as vice captains is to run all those scenarios and kind of run them by Keegan and let him know how we're thinking, what we're looking. And for him, and ultimately, it's his team, and we're there to help him and support him any way we can.
You just heard them say there's still quite a bit of time left, still some points out there, not only for those 24 guys that are trying to make that U.S. Ryder Cup team, but that's also time for Bradley as well. Now, looking ahead at his schedule, some of those opportunities coming up. He's not currently listed in the field next week at the John Deere. After that, the week is it's the week of the Scottish. He hasn't played there since 2022 when he missed the cut, so probably not going to see him there. But then you've got the Open Championship. You heard them mention there that there are more Ryder Cup points available there. So we're likely to see Bradley make another start there before heading to the playoffs, where we know that he's had some success, won the BMW Championship last year. So, Matt, still a lot of time left, as they like to remind us, and we'll have to see what Bradley does in the coming weeks.
Thanks, Amy. Excellent report.